Looks like we just had some technical issues with the Wi-Fi here at Olathe District Activity Center. And just as we reconnected, the Falcons scored their touchdown, or their second touchdown of the evening, and it is now 12-0. Deontay Edwards, the quarterback, had that scramble for a touchdown. Adam Dravetta with 810 Varsity and 810varsity.com with you. Olathe North now trails Wichita Heights 12-0 with a minute 47 left in the quarter, and the first PAT was blocked for Wichita Heights, which is why it's now only 12 rather than 13, and it looks like to try to make up that difference, Wichita Heights will be going for 2. Might be a little confusion on the play call, and they are going to need a timeout or maybe just a reset over on the right hash. That is what they're going for, is they're going to reset it there on the right hash. And Wichita Heights lines up Edward center as he has been the entire evening. And he will take the snap, and that looks like Hubbard on the quick around, and there's going to be a penalty flag, perhaps a holding. Regardless, the point after attempt was not successful, and we will see if the Eagles will need to hold them for a second time or if that penalty was on the Falcons. Now there's a block in the back, so they'll decline that, so the two-point conversion attempt is no good, so it'll be now 12-0. The Falcons have been running all over the Eagles this evening and have scored already 2 touchdowns. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Falcons beat the Eagles 41-21 in this exact matchup a year ago. And with 1:47 left in the first quarter, the Falcons already out in front, 2 scores, 12-0 Wichita Heights. And now Olathe North will have their second offensive drive of the night. Along with chewing up yards, Wichita Heights has been chewing up the clock. They've had a couple sustained drives with that triple option. And the one drive that the Eagles had earlier was a 3-and-out that only lasted about a minute and 10 seconds. So they're no huddle, not taking up much time, and did not find much success. And that'll be a very short kick. Olathe North needs to get on that, and they will. So they were able to get some decent field position on the short kick, and it looked like Trent Lyles was the one able to grab it. But that will give Olathe North field position from their own 35-yard line. And Kraus back in the shotgun for the Eagles. 3 wide to his right, and he will look to throw it, and is in a little bit of trouble. He'll scramble and get a few yards. Looks like he got about 5. So nice little improvisation there from the Eagles' junior quarterback, Zach Kraus. He felt the pressure from Wichita Heights' pass rush and was able to scramble for 5 yards. So it's 2nd and 5 from the 40. And this time it will be Myers taking the snap. He'll take it himself. So the Eagles have been switching quarterbacks this evening between Mason Myers and Zach Kraus. There, Myers took it to his left for about 2 yards, so that'll set up about a 3rd and 3 here for the Eagles. Let's see if they can get their first down of the night. Myers once again in the shotgun position. He takes the snap. He'll look to pass, and he is rushed immediately, throws it off, and just over the head of Damon Sanchez. Looked like he was just trying to throw that one away and avoid disaster. So that was an incomplete pass, and that'll be another 4th down for the Eagles. And if you weren't tuning in, or if our technical issues did not allow you to see earlier, the last time the Eagles faced a 4th down, Myers, the part-time quarterback, lined up and sent a very short punt over the head of the Falcons. So we'll see if they plan on doing that again or if they will go for it. He'll take the snap and he'll punt it again this time, and that one will roll, and the Falcons will let it roll, and it will go out of bounds at about the Wichita Heights 23. So another quick drive, 35 seconds now left on the first quarter clock. And again, the Eagles just with a little over 1 minute drive and a 3-and-out. So the Eagles will have the ball from about their own 23 and will probably bleed out the clock for the rest of this quarter. It is 12-0 Wichita Heights over Olathe North. Deontay Edwards again will take the ball under center. Interesting juxtaposition. He goes under center while the Olathe North Eagles take all their snaps shotgun. Edwards will hand it off. No, he'll keep it. That was a fake handoff, and Edwards will dive forward for about 2 yards to the 25-yard line. And a running clock. We'll see if the Falcons decide to run out the clock for the first quarter or if they will run another play. It looks like they're comfortable running out the clock, and they will do just that. So it will end the first quarter. Heights with a couple of scores in the first quarter. One on the leg with the legs of Armand Hubbard, and the other the legs of Deontay Edwards. So a couple of rushing touchdowns give the Falcons a 12-0 lead as the first quarter comes to an end. You're listening to high school football coverage on 810 Varsity. And just a quick recap, it was a lot of running. If I'm not mistaken, Edwards only threw once, and it was for a pretty good gain to Armand Hubbard there in the first quarter. But beyond that one throw, it was all on the legs of Armand Hubbard, Deontay Edwards, and Hagan Henderson. So the rushing attack for Wichita Heights has proven to be extremely potent. So the Wichita Heights Falcons will start the second quarter from the 25-yard line with a 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8. Two men in the backfield, and Hubbard will get that handoff. He'll bounce to the outside, and a few tacklers to bring him down, and he'll get about 1 yard. So now it'll be about 3rd and 7. So now we'll see if the Eagles are able to force the Falcons to punt for the first time this evening. So this is about the longest third down that Heights has faced this evening. This is their third drive. They scored on their first two. See if they can keep this one going. And it looks like we'll have some movement there on Wichita Heights, unless they're going to put that on the Eagles of Olathe North. Indeed, that is the second encroachment penalty on the Eagles this evening. So it goes from 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8 to about a 3rd and 2 on that penalty. So the Eagles doing the Falcons a favor, and that's something the Eagles can't afford to do. They're already in the hole 12-0. So now it's 3rd and 2 for the Falcons, whose rushing game has been potent all night. They'll hand that off to Henderson, and he will rumble forward, and he got the first down and about a yard, so it'll be to the 34-yard line. So he got 3 yards on a 3rd and 2, so there is a first down again for Wichita Heights. And 1st and 10 here for Wichita Heights. A very compact, in an era of football where most offenses are getting spread out. Wichita Heights, a very compact. You see about 9 men on the line. And here it looks like Hubbard will get the pitch, and he'll come around the right side toward us, and he will get slung down out of bounds. And that will be to about the 41-yard line, so about a 7-yard gain there for Hubbard. 2nd and 3. And Eric Dooley, the Olathe North linebacker, credited with the tackle, but it was 3 or 4 Eagles in there to bring down Hubbard. And gang tackling has been the name of the game for Olathe North's defense tonight. They haven't, unfortunately, yet been able to stop the Falcons, but we'll see if they're able to here. Edwards takes the snap, looks to pass for the 2nd time tonight, and that will be a clear pass interference. And the intended receiver was Cortez Orange II, and he looked like he was overthrown, but it was interference anyway, so that'll be another free 1st down for the Falcons. There's a 15-yard penalty, so that will put them into Eagle territory at about right at the 44-yard line. So, as dominant as this Falcons offense has been, the Eagles have helped them out a few times with some relatively careless penalties. And Edwards will keep it himself this time. We have another flag on the field, and he'll get about 3 yards forward before he's taken down. We'll see what the penalty flag is all about, if it's another encroachment or offsides by the Eagles. For the time being, it will be 2nd and 7 for the Falcons, but that is likely to change with the announcement of this penalty. And from the looks of it now, it will be a penalty on the Falcons. Maybe an illegal formation. Don't know. Illegal formation on the Falcons. So the first penalty of the evening on Wichita Heights will give them 1st and 15 back at the Olathe North 49. So now really the first mistake of the night for Wichita Heights. I beg your pardon, the second penalty by Wichita Heights gives them a 1st and 15. And Edwards, I thought he kept it again, but he did not. He handed it off to Hagen Henderson. And looks like Henderson made up those penalty yards. So now a gain of about 5, and it will be 2nd and 10 back to the 44-yard line for the Falcons. So it's been kind of a combination of Deontay Edwards, Hagen Henderson, and Armand Hubbard on that three-headed rushing attack by the Falcons as they'll line up once again. And Edwards will keep it. Thought he handed it off to Henderson again, but Edwards kept it. And it looked like you had 2 Falcons in motion at once, which is not a legal play, but I don't know if the refs noticed it. Edwards got 5 yards, and it will be got about 4 yards, I beg your pardon, and it will be 3rd and 6 here for the Falcons. Hubbard will set up now behind Hagen and move back now to his original position. He came in motion for a moment, and it looks like the Falcons had some miscommunication and will need a timeout to talk things over. So the Falcons take their first timeout. Bit of a reset. It is 12-0, Wichita Heights leading Olathe North here at the Olathe District Activities Center. 8:09 left in the second quarter. All of the scoring was done in the first quarter. The first score came with 8:56 left in the first quarter when Armand Hubbard took it 45 yards for a score. A blocked extra point led it at 6-0. And then about 7 minutes after that, with 1:47 left in the first quarter, Deontay Edwards, the senior quarterback for Wichita Heights, took it for his first rushing touchdown of the evening, and a failed two-point conversion made it 12-0. And that is where we stand right now with 8:09 left in the second quarter. You're listening to high school football coverage on 810 Varsity. You can check out scores from all over Kansas and Missouri at 810varsity.com. And here is Edwards looking to take the snap once again. And Hubbard in motion again. It looks like Edwards will keep it to the left, and he will fall forward. It looks like they will spot it just short of the line to gain. And you would have to imagine the Falcons will go for it. It'll be 4th and 1. And the way they're rushing, you think the smart money would be on them going for it here on 4th down. Falcons have scored on each of their first 2 possessions, and here on their third, they'll try to maintain possession. Edwards lines up under center, and there is another first down from Hagen Henderson. Not much answer for this rushing attack so far by Wichita Heights. And what's interesting is all of their rushes have come in chunks, with the exception of that one long 45-yard run by Hubbard in the first quarter. It's all been chunks of about 3 yards here, 6 yards here. Sustained, steady drives, resulting in first downs and touchdowns for Wichita Heights. Now from the Eagles' 32-yard line, they'll line up. 1st and 10 here for the Falcons. Edwards will toss it there to Hubbard. He goes along the right side, and he is wrapped up. A great initial tackle by Dylan Blessing, is who looked like got it for the, was in the first 26, I beg your pardon. That was Devin Stoker. So he was wrapped up, Hubbard was wrapped up for a loss by Stoker. And now the Falcons are looking at 2nd and about 13. And another reverse there. That one is going to go to Hubbard again, and he is going to go all the way to about the 5-yard line. So gain of about 30 there by Hubbard, and he is already over the 100-yard rushing mark for the evening. Looked like they'll spot him there at the 7 where he went out of bounds. So it'll be 1st and goal now for Wichita Heights. One wide out here for the Falcons, a bunched up line as they've been running all evening. And Edwards will keep it. Looked like he wanted to hand it off for Henderson, and he wasn't there. So he had to keep it, and he's wrapped up by about 4 or 5 different Olathe North Eagles. And that will be a loss of about 1. So it'll be 2nd and goal now from the 8 after that loss. Tackle officially credited to Drew Rediger, the Eagles senior. And it looked like he was helped along by about 3 of his teammates. Second and goal here from the 8 for the Falcons. And Edwards again will keep it, and he was just tripped up. A touchdown-saving trip there by Ryan Huck. He got 2 yards. If not for the trip by Huck, he probably would have scored. So now it's 3rd and goal. Wichita Heights from the Eagles 6. So far, the Eagles holding here inside their own 10. We'll see if they can continue it here, as Edwards will toss it to the short side, and cutting back was Jameer Johnson. He went toward the middle, but there were also a couple of flags, so it looks like this one may be coming back. It will either be 3rd and goal from about the 11 or 4th and goal. We'll see what the Eagles decide to do here. And actually, if that was a hold, it will be more than a 5-yard gain, or 5-yard penalty, I beg your pardon. Push it all the way back to the 17-yard line. So 3rd and goal now from the 17. Wichita Heights has had a couple penalties here that have harmed them on this drive. We're all the way down to 4:39 in the second quarter. Heights leading Olathe North 12-0 and threatening here with 3rd and goal, but after a penalty, push them all the way back to the 17. We'll see if they're able to convert. And here's a pitch there to Hubbard. He's got one man, and he will cut through a touchdown. Falcons score again. Hubbard breaks through. He's now had touchdown runs of 45 and 17 yards. Heights scores again, and it is now 18-0 in favor of the Falcons. So just when the Eagles caught a break, Hubbard was able to break through and score his 2nd touchdown of the evening. Here comes the point after attempt for the Falcons. The kick is blocked once again. And so for the 2nd time tonight, a PAT has been blocked by the Eagles special teams. So it remains now 18-0. And the point after is no good. So 3 touchdowns. However, not able to convert on any of their point after attempts, so it's 18-0. Here with 4:14 left in the second quarter. Wichita Heights with all the scoring here tonight. While we have a break, folks, I do want to make note, you may notice the Olathe North coaches are all wearing Blue Valley Strong T-shirts, and that is a tribute to the late Eric Driscoll, who tragically passed away in the offseason, the Blue Valley head football coach. A very well-respected coach, not just in the Kansas City area, but throughout all of Kansas, led the Tigers to a couple of state championships. So the Olathe North coach is paying tribute to him and the Blue Valley family. Another short kickoff here will be taken by Olathe North, and busting forward, still on his feet up to the 44-yard line. And it looks like somebody for Wichita Heights is injured. Oh, he's able to get up now. For a moment, it looked like Caleb Washington was down. Scary moment, but he was able to get back up. So Olathe North starts their 3rd offensive drive of the evening. Mason Myers back to take the snap in shotgun formation. Zach Krause, I beg your pardon, hasn't been seen since about early in the second drive, and he will hand that one off to Sanchez. Sanchez around the far side, and he'll be pushed out of bounds for a gain of very minimal gain, if any. Gain of about 1 up to the 40-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 9 from the 40. Krause back in now for the Eagles, and that pass was deflected and nearly intercepted. Krause, as I mentioned, you hadn't seen him on the field for a while for the Eagles, and his first pass of the drive is batted down, and it'll be 3rd and long again for Olathe North. They really have struggled to get anything going offensively, and we'll see if they're able to convert here. Krause again looks deep, and he's got Myers, and it is nearly picked off.
Incomplete pass. Receiver number 4, Mason Myers.
Looked like that was Javion Johnson. Nearly had the pick, couldn't hold on to it. Great defense nonetheless, and that will force another punt for the Eagles. Two returners back now for the Falcons. And now their second one will come back up short. And Myers sends the punt away. Great booming punt. And he is going to, that looks like it is Jameer Johnson with the return up the far sideline. There was a penalty flag there on the play, so we'll see if that's going to send back what was a good return after a phenomenal punt by Mason Myers.
During the return, personal foul on the return team.
Personal foul on Wichita Heights will set them way back to their own 13-yard line. So a difficult penalty there to swallow for the Falcons. They have about 3:46 left in the second quarter to try to score before halftime. They did start the game with possession, so Olathe North will start the second half with possession. Heights lined up again. Edwards under center. And he's got Henderson behind him, and to his left is Hubbard. He will hand it off to Henderson, but there was a flag prior to the snap, it sounded like. False start there on the offense. So 2 straight penalties now by Wichita Heights, and they're looking at 1st and 15 from even deeper in their own territory. So an opportunity now for Olathe North's defense to get a stop, perhaps set themselves up with some decent field position before the end of the half. Second and 15 here for the Falcons. Coming in motion is Hubbard, but Edwards will keep it, and he is wrapped up almost immediately. Looked like by Dayton Jackson, the defensive lineman senior for Olathe North. And that is a loss. So it will now be 2nd and 16 after a loss of 1. Second and 16 from their own 8. Hubbard in motion again, and it looks like he is going to hand it off, and that will go to B.J. Richard, and he is flying down the sideline. Stopped at the last second. Thought for a moment that he was going to go all 92 yards. However, there was a flag, so it could have been another false start, so that ruined what was a fantastic game. So now it will be 1st and 20. 2nd and 21, I beg your pardon. I'm losing track of downs. So after what was a great gain, the Falcons will be forced back. So this is now their 3rd penalty on this same drive. So they're really hurting their chances of putting up a 4th touchdown before halftime. And so far, the Falcons have been stopping themselves. They had 3 or 4 penalties on their previous drive, and now already 3, and they are back deep in their own territory at their own 4. And a stoppage of play here by the official. Not sure what they're trying to sort out. And here we wind up and we're ready to go again. Edwards under center, and he will keep it himself, go to the left, and he is met initially by Joey Rudolph. He fell forward by about 4 or 5 yards. Up to the 9. So it'll be 3rd and about 15 now for Wichita Heights. And Edwards keeps it, and that is taken away. What a play by the Eagles. Looked like Savion Butner got in. It was a pitch. Edwards was attempting to pitch it to Hubbard, which has been a play all night that has worked for the Falcons. And Savion Butner just got right in the way of that attempted lateral and scored. So now all of a sudden things have changed. So the penalties have come back to haunt Wichita Heights, and it is 18-6. Heights scores, but the Eagles are on the board for the first time tonight. What a defensive play by the Eagles, and you got the feeling that after penalty after penalty, it was eventually going to have to come back and bite the Eagles, and indeed it did there, as Savion Butner gets in the end zone for the first time tonight for the Eagles, and that extra point is blocked. And so it will remain 18-6 as our score with 2:01 left in the first quarter. So the Eagles defense helping out and getting them on the board for the first time this evening. So a little momentum here for the Eagles as we approach 2 minutes remaining in the first half. So the one thing about that is they do give the ball right back to the Falcons offense, but I think if you ask Olathe North and head coach Walter McCartney, he will tell you that 10 times out of 10 he will take that touchdown. So he has no problem, I'm sure, with giving the ball back to Wichita Heights if it means that they were able to get 6, which indeed they were. And the kick sails into the night, another booming kick, and trouble picking it up, busting through the first line. Looks like that was Jameer Johnson.
28-yard return by number 25, Jameer Johnson.
So with a minute 54 left in the first half, Wichita Heights will start from about their own 29. So he was able to bust through that first line of defense, but not through the second. And Wichita Heights has a minute and 54 to see if they can get on the board again before halftime. So here comes Henderson once again. He'll take, no, I beg your pardon, I was faked out. Another fake handoff to Henderson, but Edwards kept it himself, and he was met for no gain, so it will be 2nd and 10. Javon Parrish had that tackle. So now it looks like the Eagle defense is settling in to this triple option. We'll see what kind of answer Wichita Heights has. The clock is still ticking. Wichita Heights does have 2 timeouts left. Doesn't look like they're inclined to use them. Minute 17, minute 16 now, as Wichita Heights lines up for 2nd down. And Edwards will hand it off that time, and that is to B.J. Richard, who had a great run earlier that was negated by Wichita Heights penalty. This one will not be negated, a 4-yard gain. About a 5-yard gain, I beg your pardon. So it will be 3rd and 5 now for Wichita Heights. 46, now 45 seconds left. And it looks like Olathe North will decide to use their first time out of the half. So I'm sure they're hoping that Wichita Heights will not be able to convert this, and you would think that their strategy is if Wichita Heights, I beg your pardon, is not able to convert here, they'll call another. Olathe North will call another timeout and have a chance after a Wichita Heights punt. We'll see if they're able to execute that plan. Wichita Heights has still not punted this evening. They've had 4 drives, 3 of which have ended in touchdowns. The 4th ended when a lateral was picked off in the air by Savion Butner of Olathe North in return for a score. So they've had 3 touchdowns and a turnover, but still no punts. 44 seconds left here in the second quarter. Once again, Olathe North will start the second half with the ball, but I'm sure they would love to get another shot at the end zone with a few seconds left here in the first half just to see if they can get it in. And there will be another illegal procedure penalty on Wichita Heights. So the clock will stop because of the penalty. They had 2 men in motion once again. So an illegal shift there on Wichita Heights. And we'll see if Olathe North wants to keep that or make it 4th down. There are 38.1 seconds left in the second quarter. Olathe North discussing it. Now head coach Walter McCartney weighing his options with the officials. But the thing is, if the penalty was prior to the snap, then you'd have to put 44 seconds back on the clock, and it would just be 3rd and about 9. And I'm sure that's what they're discussing right now. The play was run, as I'm sure you saw, but it was an illegal shift, which is typically a pre-snap penalty, which means there would be no play, and it would be 3rd and 9, but you'd have to add about 6 seconds back on the clock. And that is what is being discussed now, I am sure. The head official giving Coach McCartney his options, and we will see what Olathe North chooses. If the play indeed counts, you would have to think Olathe North will decline it and call a timeout.
On the offense, the penalties decline.
So it looks like it will be now 4th and about 9 for Wichita Heights, and you'd have to think they'd punt as they are on their own 31-yard line. So Olathe North does call that second timeout of the half.
Timeout, Olathe North.
So they will talk things over and leave Wichita Heights with a decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week, the Olathe North varsity soccer team is hosting a tournament here at Olathe Fishing Activity Center. They are playing on Tuesday, September 5th and Thursday, September 7th. Tuesday, they'll be facing Blue Mountain Southwest here in Olathe. And on Thursday, they'll be facing Shawnee Mission North, also here in Olathe. They'll hope to see you there. Once again,
so Wichita Heights will be facing a 4th down and 8 yards to go. So the Eagles look to get the ball back, and heading deep is Demon Sanchez. 38 seconds left. Olathe North, it would be great, a great momentum booster going into halftime if they can score again, as they will start the second half with the ball. Wichita Heights lining up in punt formation. And if you can get a short punt or maybe a great return out of Sanchez, whether they're able to score or just set themselves up with great field position and give their offense a shot at the end zone. And after the first 3 drives, Wichita Heights all resulted in touchdowns. The last 2 have been stopped. So the Olathe North defense adjusting, and here comes Sanchez on the return. He'll try to get around and is tripped up and still on his feet. And I'm not sure if that penalty will be a hold on Olathe North, but a penalty flag was thrown, so they may lose some field position. Right now it looks like they'll spot it at the Olathe North 43, but we'll see what the penalty is all about.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, 15 yards, first down.
They said it was a face mask, but they didn't say who it was on. It looked, from the way they're walking, it looks like it was on Wichita Heights, so that clears things up. They said it was a personal foul face mask, but didn't say if it was on the return team or the punting team. As you can see there, it was on Wichita Heights, so after a pretty good return from Demon Sanchez, the penalty will give great field position to the Eagles. They will start now from the Wichita Heights 43-yard line. Zach Krause lined up in the shotgun formation. He'll look deep, and he will just overthrow Myers. He had Myers, who had the defender beaten by about 2 steps. Mason Myers would have scored easily. And now with 20.2 seconds left, it will be second down. And I would guess there's 1 timeout left, so you have time for maybe 1 rushing play if you're the Eagles, but you have to start firing. You have to keep firing toward the end zone. And it looks like that's what Kraus will look to do again. He scrambles, throws it long again, and that one is caught. That is caught by Elijah Williams. He will get a block, and Elijah Williams will score. Touchdown, Olathe North. And what a way. Well, there's a flag down now, so I'm not sure what they'll say. They may say that was unnecessary roughness, which I hope they don't. That was a clean block. At least, well, I don't have the benefit of on-the-field vision as the refs do, so I don't want to say for sure as I'm up in the booth, but all I can say is from our perspective up here in the booth, it looked like a clean block. But they may negate this touchdown. And as we see getting up is Cole Largent. So good to see he is up and moving. Now you will say that was a blindside block. In the moment of the play, it looked clean, but again, the referees saw it differently, and they have a much better vantage point than we do up here in the booth, so that will cost Olathe North 15 yards and, more importantly, 6 points. So now they're at the Wichita Heights 27-yard line. They'll still get the first down, but that won't matter much with 8.3 seconds left. They do have 1 timeout, so if they can get a quick pass and call that timeout very quickly, you could squeeze 2 plays out of these 8 seconds. 18-6 here, Wichita Heights. Olathe North hoping they can score again before the end of the half. Kraus looks deep again, and they'll score! Touchdown, Mason Myers. What a pass from Zach Kraus. And so the penalty did not wind up hurting Olathe North too much. They score with just 2.9 seconds left. So great answer after a blindside block penalty negated a previous touchdown. They were able to score on that one, and Zach Kraus connected for 27-yard touchdown to Mason Myers. What a pass. He had Myers deep earlier but overthrew him, but put it right in his breadbasket this time for a touchdown, and that extra point is good. So Olathe North cuts it. They were down 18-0 at one point with 4:41 left in the second half, and now we'll go into halftime, and it's 18-13. And from about 2:01 left in the second until now, it has been all Olathe North. What a pass. So a great way to end the half if you are Olathe North. And remind you once again, Olathe North will start the second half with the ball. So this has been a huge sequence of events over the last 2 minutes or so. With 2:01 left, Savion Butner intercepted a lateral and scored on the defensive end for Olathe North, and that was the first score of the evening. And just now, Zach Kraus, I beg your pardon, hit Mason Myers for a 27-yard touchdown pass, and just like that, Olathe North is down only 5. That kick will roll out of bounds, so Wichita Heights will get 1 crack at it. We'll see if they down it or if they try to run a play. 2.9 seconds left, 18-13. Olathe North trails Wichita Heights, but even though they trail, you have to think they have all the momentum after two quick scores, both in very dramatic fashion. They will re-kick the ball here. So now here comes the kick from Zach Willoughby-Neal. And he will send it up the middle that time, and Heights will try to return it, and time is expired, so this will end the half. So Olathe North has to feel great about themselves going into the half. They were down 18-0 as recently as 2:01 left in the second quarter. And then a couple quick touchdowns. All of a sudden, it's 18-13. Olathe North will start the second half with the ball, so great momentum for Olathe North. You're listening to high school football on 810 Varsity. You can check some scores around the area at 810varsity.com. We will do that a little later on in the half. But for now, we will allow you to enjoy the sights and sounds of the halftime show put on by the Olathe North Screamin' Eagles Band. Again, your score at half, Wichita Heights 18, Olathe North 13. You're listening to high school football on 810 Varsity.
The band and Eaglettes have a proud tradition of representing Olathe's original high school. Over the years, the band has experienced competitive success, including marching band festival championships and top-rated concert and jazz band festivals. In the last 2 years, the band has earned the title of 6A class champion at the Kansas Band National Association Championships. The band has represented Olathe around North America with performances in Texas, Florida, Indiana, Canada, and at the Tournament of Roses Parade in Pasadena, California. Last spring, the band made their first ever appearance in Carnegie Hall in New York City. This year, the Screamin' Eagles and Eaglettes will be performing at all home football games, the Old Settlers Parade, Olathe District Marching Festival, Shawnee Mission North Marching Invitational, the Kansas Band National Association Marching Band Championships, and the Heart of America Marching Festival. The Screamin' Eagles 2017 field show is entitled Beyond the Yellow Brick Road. Music and drill are arranged by Patrick McCarty. The show features the music of Elton John, Igor Stravinsky, and Pink Floyd. Tonight, the band Eaglettes will be performing a portion of their full show. Instrumental soloists this evening include Haley Jones, vocal, and Nathaniel Martin, baritone. Drum majors, is the band ready? Olathe North High School is proud to present drum majors Robin Lutner, Katie Bailey, and Maddie Kane, and the Olathe North High School Screamin' Eagle Marching Band and Eaglettes Dance Team.
Since the two teams got put in the playoffs, they both got in when they advanced for a second time. Okay.
Coached by Mrs. Sarah Hepting. Assistant coaches are Marley Bailey, Lindsay Mall, and Emily McDonald.
Still, if you still use those halls.
inside the building?
Yeah, still use those halls. We have courtyards. It used to be open, like there's a horseshoe shaped room. That's completely closed up. We have 4 courtyards in the rooms because of the way it's built. Yeah, so I don't think they would actually add on more like they said they would. Try the variance, but they have to make the city. We finally went up to a 2-story wing. About 9 years ago. No, East has 2 stories. All the other schools have been. North has been 1-story building. So wherever we freshman came up.
West obviously just opened up. This is the only one I've ever seen north basketball.
Yeah.
High schools have just after all those early second semester have invitational basketball tournaments.
Right.
sophomore. So I always think that. So just turned 29, so it's starting to feel weird.
You got a minute to go.
Yeah, I know. So you're a sophomore in high school, which means were you born this century? That's this century.
Wait! Which way is that yonder? Pause! Pause! Your sister yonder!
No, I asked if you were born this century, so you were...
Yeah.
Your birthday was in December. Oh, okay. So you were born just before 9/11.
Yeah, our mom has a
That's gonna, what a memory.
Well, speaking of 9/11, you told me that the 9/11 was happening. Cal Butcher. He walked in my office to like the weekly show. He said, "You see the news? Or the plane hit the town one more time." You know, an hour later, everyone was glued to the TV set.
I was in 8th grade. My desk was right next to the teacher's desk, and he was on the phone, and it was before school had started. And he was talking to another teacher about classes or something, and I just started saying, "Oh my God, he's kidding." So he hung up the phone, and he turned off the news, and then the first one, so then saying, that is,
See, at that time, we only had maybe 1 or 2 TVs in the classroom.
yeah.
When they lined up, there was something like 50 the clock has to come down at least
I'm eating seatbelt!
Yeah, the graduating class of this year is running
99 and 2000.
I was a 17 when I graduated high school. And it was September day.
yeah, my school used to go
Which town was it? Which town was it?
it's very small.
I pride myself on knowing towns in Kansas.
We start school on August 9th. Not September 11th.
Oh, she started late.
So I was always the last kid.
That works. I'm gonna fire back up.
Welcome back to the broadcast. I hope you enjoyed that performance by the Olathe North Screaming Eagles band. So to give a quick reset here, we have 18-13 in favor of Wichita Heights after what looked like would be a sure blowout. Olathe North was able to make a great comeback in the last 2 minutes of the previous half. We'll give you some quick scores before this half starts up. Last night in Kansas, Lawrence beat Shawnee Mission Northwest 42-21. Hutchinson beat Olathe East 22-21. Shawnee Mission East beat Olathe South 28-6. Free State beat the Shawnee Mission West Vikings 28-2, and we will get to some more scores as soon as we can. For now, here's the kickoff from Wichita Heights, and busting forward all the way to the 32 is Damon Sanchez for Olathe North. Beg your pardon, that was Javon Parrish. So Olathe North will start with possession at the 32-yard line. And they will see if they can build on the momentum that they were able to create at the end of the previous half. Kraus back to pass, and he will sail it long to Mason Myers. Nobody's going to catch Myers, and it is going to be a touchdown. Olathe North takes the lead on the first play of the second half. That is the second Kraus to Myers connection for a touchdown this evening. And so now it is 19-18, and Olathe North will try to tack on to that lead, and I'm not sure if they will kick. No, it looks like they're going to line up and go for two. So a heaving pass from Zach Kraus to Mason Myers gives North the lead. They are now on a 19-0 run. And that will fall incomplete, so the two-point conversion attempt is no good, but the North Eagles hold on to the lead. It is 19-18 with 11:41 left in the third. So just like that, Olathe North claims the lead for the first time this evening. To give you a recap, Heights scored on their first three drives to go up 18-0. Not long after that, Savion Butner intercepted a lateral to score to get Olathe North on the board 6-0. And then right at the end of the second half, or of the first half, I beg your pardon, Kraus connected with Myers for a touchdown to make it 18-13 right before halftime. And then as you just saw, Kraus to Myers again makes it 19-18 in favor of the Olathe North Eagles. So they have their first lead of the night. You're listening to high school football coverage on 810 Varsity. And now the kickoff is taken and slammed down at the 14-yard line. Was Jameer Johnson.
Tackle was made by number 46, Mason Mattis. First down, Wichita Heights.
Mason Matz had that tackle. So now everything going Olathe North's way. Wichita Heights pinned deep. They will have to find an answer as they are at their own 17-yard line. And here's a pitch to Hubbard. He'll try to get around the corner, and he does for a moment before he is wrapped up and brought down by Butner. With some assistance from other Eagles, he got about 3 yards, and he will get up to about the 20, so it will be 2nd and 7 for Wichita Heights. So Henderson behind Edwards again. Hubbard to his left. And looks like we'll get a delay of game. So another penalty. Penalties have been hurting Wichita Heights since about midway through the second quarter. Really after they scored their last touchdown, which was about 4:41 left in the second. They really caught the penalty bug, and this will go from 2nd and 7 at the 20 to now 2nd and 12 at the 15. So Edwards will hang on to it, go to the left, and he gets some room and he will be brought down eventually there by
7-yard gain by number 4, Deontay Edwards.
Devin Stoker was the tackler. Beg your pardon, it took me a minute to find who made the tackle, but he gained about 9 or so, and it is now 3rd and 3. Beg your pardon, he gained about 12, and it is now 3rd and 3. Handoff there goes to Henderson, and he will rumble forward, and he looks like got about 4 yards, 4 or 5, so clearly enough for a first down. So that will give a new bounce to Wichita Heights from the 29-yard line, and 1st and 10 now for Wichita Heights. And a bunched formation once again by the Falcons. And Edwards will keep it, but he will get nowhere. Another good group tackling by Olathe North. And he got no gain. They might give him a foot or so, but I don't think he got a thing. So now 2nd and 10, still from the 29-yard line of Wichita Heights.
Second down, Wichita Heights.
Edwards lines up under center, and he will pitch it to Hubbard this time, and he will break around to the right, but just when it looked like he was going to get through the second line, he was stuffed for a gain of about 6. Beg your pardon, that was Jameer Johnson, not Hubbard. And now it will be 3rd and 4 from Wichita Heights' 35-yard line. So Edwards prepares to take the snap, and he will hand it to Henderson, and he fumbled. There's a fumble, and I think Olathe North picked it up. And they have. So another turnover. So the last 3 possessions now by Wichita Heights have gone turnover, punt, turnover. So beautiful field position for Olathe North to potentially pad their lead after being down 18-0. They're up 19-18, and they have a chance to go up more. They're at the Wichita Heights 36-yard line as Zach Kraus lines up in the shotgun formation. 3 wide to his right. He looks now to his left. Looks like now he's going to scramble, and he has a lot of room, and he will gain about 12 yards. 12 or 13 yards all the way up to the 24-yard line of Wichita Heights. No huddle now again here for Olathe North. Kraus gets the signal. He looks left immediately, and there's Miles, and just overthrew him. Good step-for-step coverage there.
Play was broken up by number 11, Keyshawn Howell.
By Howell. Keyshawn Howell had Miles stride for stride there, so it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 24-yard line. And there's a handoff, and stuffed in the backfield is Damon Sanchez, and he will lose a yard or 2, so that will bring up 3rd and long. 3rd and 12 here for Olathe North. So you'd hate to waste such great momentum and a turnover, and Olathe North I know would love to convert here. 3 wide to the right, 1 here to the short field on the left, and now Sanchez will go right as well. Kraus needs to get rid of it before he's sacked, and he does, but now it looks like we could have a holding penalty all on Olathe North as a flag was thrown right around the 32-yard line. And we'll see what that penalty is all about. As it stands, it will be 4th and 12. But they're talking, and if Wichita Heights chooses to not accept this penalty, it'll be 4th and 12. But we'll see what their decision is here momentarily. Wichita Heights talking it over. And their coach, Terry Harrison, will come forward to make a decision as he is speaking with the long side official. And I'm still not sure what they're discussing here, unless they want to pick up the flag completely. I'm not sure that will be the case. And here comes the call from the head official. They will decline. But there was an intentional grounding. A second penalty flag was thrown. So that not only loses you yardage, it results in a loss of down. So it is 4th down and about 20. So 4th down and 21 for Olathe North after that intentional grounding. So after all that, benefits Wichita Heights a great deal. We'll see if Myers will punt here, as he has 3 times already this evening. High snap, punt away. It is high but short. And Olathe North will down it. And it looks like Wichita Heights will take over about their own 32, 33-yard line. We have 6:49 remaining in the third quarter. Olathe North has scored the only touchdown of the second half so far. They lead 19-18. Wichita Heights about to start their second drive of the half. Their first one resulted in a fumble and turnover. Hubbard will go in motion. He'll get the pitch, and he will come to the right side, break through a few defenders, and it looks like he was brought down there by Devin Stoker after about a 9-yard gain. So it will be 2nd and short here for Wichita Heights, their best play of the second half by far. Bunch formation again here by Wichita Heights. Hubbard in motion, Henderson, and then Edwards will take it, but he is wrapped up quickly. I'm not sure if he was able to fall forward. Looks like he was able to fall forward for the first down. The initial contact there was made by Eric Dooley. And that will be enough for the first down up to about the 43, 44-yard line.
Result of the play is the first down for Wichita Heights.
And now here's a pitch to Hubbard, who will go around the left side and then come back, and he will be tripped up and then now brought down by number 20, Javon Parrish, after a considerable loss. And it looked like he lost about 9 yards. So it looks like it'll be 2nd and 19, 2nd and 18 here for the Falcons. So a great play there by Parrish. Edwards under center once again. Hubbard to his left and Henderson again to his right. And then Hubbard will get the handoff, and a great heads-up tackle. Looked like the initial wrap-up came from Drew Rediger. And there was a bit of a fake before it was handed off to Hubbard, and a great read by Rediger, maintaining his composure. And it looked like they lost another yard, and it will be 3rd and 19 here for the Falcons. Here comes, they will try to pass it, but he lost the ball, and it's picked up and taken for a touchdown by Drew Rediger. So Wichita Heights tried a little trickery. It looked like they were handing it off to Hubbard and maybe go for a pass, and he fumbled it. But now there's a couple penalty flags on the field, so contain your excitement for the moment. Not sure. I see 2 different penalty flags. Not sure if they're related to the same penalty, but we'll see what the call is. For the moment, Rediger credited with the touchdown. Touchdown, I beg your pardon. We'll see what the call is. Still not sure what the call is. The referee's taking a moment to discuss it. Now the flags have been picked up. Will this be an excessive celebration after the touchdown is all I can think of. But then you saw another further down the field that looked like it may have been on Olathe North's defense prior to the touchdown.
Unfortunately, on the offense, the touchdown is counted.
So they will count the touchdown, but excessive celebration is the penalty. So it is 25-18. They certainly had plenty to celebrate, excessively or otherwise, as they are now on a 25-0 scoring binge and have taken a 7-point lead with the extra point pending. It will be, I imagine, will be enforced on the kickoff. So now back for the extra point is Jacob Large of Olathe North to pad this lead a little bit. And that is up and looks good from here. And no, it was wide right. Beg your pardon. No good. However, the touchdown gives Olathe North a 25-18 lead. So Olathe North has scored the last 4 touchdowns after Wichita Heights scored the first 3. Wichita Heights has not seen the end zone since there was 4:41 left in the first half. Now they do look to get some pretty good field position here, as Olathe North will be forced to kick off from the 25 after that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty following the previous Olathe North touchdown. And there goes the kick, and that will be grabbed by Johnson again, and he will come up through the middle, now try to go left, and tackled at the 35-yard line. So after having to kick from deep in their own territory, the kickoff unit for Olathe North able to really stop any major damage, and given where the kickoff came from, it's not particularly great by Jasper Earls for a gain of about 4. So it will be 2nd and 6 for Wichita Heights. Important to note that Wichita Heights have always been using a lot of clock on their sustained drives. This evening, we'll see if the clock plays a factor as we get into the 4th quarter, but we have a ways to go. Meantime, Edwards will keep it. He'll go forward, almost fumbled the ball again, but was able to get it back, and he will get forward to about the 44-yard line, which will bring up 3rd and 2. So Edwards bobbled the ball for a moment, but was able to snag it right back into his right arm and maintain possession. So now a crucial 3rd down here. Wichita Heights now finds themselves down 7. And they absolutely do not want to give the ball back to Olathe North the way their offense is going. Here goes Henderson right up the middle. He will easily get the 1st down. He's into Olathe North territory to the 46. So that was the first carry by Henderson in some time, and it worked out. Parrish got the tackle there, and it will be 1st and 10 here from the Olathe North 46, and it is the first time Wichita Heights has found themselves inside Olathe North territory this entire second half. And here goes Edwards keeping it again, and he's wrapped up and brought down. He only gained about 2 yards, so that will bring up 2nd and 8.
2-yard gain by number 4, Deontay Edwards. Tackle made by number 48, Ryan Huck. 2nd down, Wichita Heights.
Ryan Huck was the first to meet Edwards for the tackle there, and he was brought down by 3 other Eagle defenders. Hubbard comes in motion. He will take the toss, and he will break that first tackle, but he will be wrapped up before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. He was able to avoid the first defender, but not the second, and it looks like he lost about 1, which will bring up 3rd and 9. Devin Stoker got himself another tackle. So another big 3rd down here, and this one's 3rd and long. We'll see what kind of plan Wichita Heights has to deal with that. And Edwards will keep it, and he will not get close. He will maybe get 3 yards. So that will set up 4th and 6. And now Wichita Heights has a decision to make. We're coming upon the end of the third quarter. 33 seconds left. Wichita Heights will have to run a play before this quarter's out. There's 19 seconds, 18 now left on the play clock, 22 left on the game clock. Edwards lines up. And a little double motion. Hubbard takes it. Olathe North had it read and eventually makes the tackle short of the line to gain, so a turnover on downs. So Olathe North takes over once again with 11 seconds left in the third quarter. Great defense on the part of Olathe North, and now the offense has a chance to pad the lead. Zach Kraus in shotgun formation once again. He will take the snap, take it on an option, take it himself and go to his right, cut up the middle, and he will gain about 8 yards. And that will end the third quarter. Olathe North will start fourth quarter with the ball. It's 25-18. And while we reset quarters, let's go over some scores. As I mentioned last night, Lawrence Lions beat Shawnee Mission Northwest 42-21. Hutchinson topped Olathe East 22-21. Shawnee Mission East took out Olathe South 28-6. Free State Firebirds beat Shawnee Mission West 42-2. Beg your pardon, they are leading 42-2. That game is still in progress. Leavenworth leading Lansing 7-6. Goddard leads Olathe Northwest 20-6. Shawnee Mission South up on Shawnee Mission North 14-6. Bishop Miege is dominating Blue Valley 41-3. Blue Valley North is on top of Blue Valley Northwest 48-0. St. Thomas Aquinas up on Gardner Edgerton 35-7. And Blue Valley West, Blue Valley Southwest tied at 21 apiece. And some more EKL action. St. James leads Mill Valley 31-14. So as we begin to start the second quarter, the fourth quarter, I beg your pardon, I am losing count here. And taking the snap is Kraus. Looks like a little bit of confusion. He will be pulled way down for a loss. That back to the 40. So a little miscommunication. It looked like he was trying to hand it off, and the running back was not quite sure what the play was. So a little bit of improvisation did not work out. So now facing third and long, Olathe North will go 4 wide. Kraus takes the snap, he looks to his left, he floats it, and almost catching it but dropping it is Damon Sanchez. Had it in his hands, bobbled it around, and unfortunately for Olathe North, dropped it. So Olathe North will be forced to punt as they face 4th and 7. Reminder, if you'd like some more scores from around the area and Kansas and Missouri, you can check 810varsity.com. They will keep you apprised of all the goings on in the Kansas City metro area. And here goes the punt from Myers, and it will be downed by Jameer Johnson. So Wichita Heights will take over from their own 27-20 28, beg your pardon, 28-yard line. And we will see what kind of answer Wichita Heights has. They have not gotten into the end zone since there was about 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Here's Hubbard on an end around. He will get to the corner and will gain about 8. So a good start to this drive for Wichita Heights. And we mentioned earlier, Wichita Heights has been taking a lot of time on their drives. So you wonder if the clock is going to become a factor. Still have 11 minutes and 1 second left here. So they do have plenty of time after Hubbard got out of bounds on that last play. But it does look like there's a penalty, and a hold will be called on Wichita Heights. So that will negate Hubbard's gain. So it will be first down from the 18-yard line. So it will be first down and 20 here for Wichita Heights. So penalties continue to plague the Falcons. Now back to pass is Edwards, and he looks and has nobody. Looked for a minute like he was looking for Cortez Orange, but it fell well short of the intended receiver, so that will bring up 2nd and 20. Wichita Heights lines up for 2nd and 20, and we will have a timeout, I guess, to reset the clock. I'm not sure what the issue is. And now we'll restart. I guess we had some clock issues. Edwards will take the snap. He will hand it off. No, he will keep it again, and he is wrapped up almost immediately. Initially was wrapped up by Drew Rediger, who scored the touchdown earlier for Olathe North. And he was helped along by several of his teammates after a 5-yard loss, and Wichita Heights is now facing 3rd and 25. So this has been a bit of a disastrous drive for Wichita Heights. And as long as their drives tend to take, they are running out of time in this game. Still find themselves down only 7, so it's still a 1-score game. But they will need to really get things going if they hope to tie it up or perhaps take a lead. And here comes a little bit of motion, and diving forward there was Hagan Henderson. And he will just get 2 yards, so it'll be 4th and 18. And now back deep to receive the punt is Damon Sanchez. So Wichita Heights forced to punt, just their 2nd punt of the evening. And the punt is away. Sanchez will grab it, and he will go to his left and then cut up the middle. He's got a seam. Damon Sanchez is going to score. Touchdown, Olathe North. What a return by Damon Sanchez, and that makes it 31-18. A 47-yard return by Damon Sanchez. And Olathe North continues to add to this lead. And now with just 9:12 left in the 4th, Olathe North lining up for an extra point, and that one is good, 32-18. So just to give you a quick recap for those just tuning in, this game started with Wichita Heights going up 6-0 with 8:56 left in the first, 12-0 with 1:47 left in the first, 18-0 with 4:41 left in the second, and then what really opened the floodgates for Olathe North was Savion Butner intercepted a lateral to get Olathe North on the board with 2:01 left. So at that point it was 18-6 Wichita Heights, and then with 2.9 seconds left in the first half, Zach Kraus found Mason Myers in the end zone to make it 18-13. Wichita Heights then, or Olathe North, I beg your pardon, then started the second half with the ball, and almost immediately Kraus found Myers again for a touchdown, giving Olathe North the lead, and then a fumble return by Rediger late in the third gave Olathe North a 25-18 lead, and here Damon Sanchez returned a punt, and it is now 32-18 in favor of the Eagles, and that kickoff return will go nowhere. There is a flag down. We'll see what that is about. But for now, it looks like Wichita Heights will start the drive at about their own 10 or 11-yard line. And we'll see what the flag is here in a moment. What a change of momentum. And you can really feel it. We're up here in the press box above the Olathe North home side, and you can just feel the momentum with the crowd, tons of people standing, so much energy on the Olathe North sideline after they found themselves down 18-0, and frankly that feels like it was an entirely different game.
During the return, personal foul.
So a face mask against Olathe North will go in favor of the Falcons to give them better field position. They're now at their own 30 as they start with a 1st and 10 from there. But they find themselves down 2 scores with 9 minutes left. And they do take up a bunch of time on their drives, so they will really have to get something going here if they want to stay in this game. Hand it off there to Henderson. He busts forward, takes 3 guys to bring him down. He's still charging forward, and he may have a first down. He got to the 40, and they will give him the first down unless they want to measure it beforehand. They will give him the first down. 1st and 10, Wichita Heights now from the 40. Keeping an eye on the clock, there is 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in this game, which seems like a lot, but as long as it's taken Wichita Heights to score in the past, you wonder. Now here's Hubbard around the right. He'll get 6. D'Artagnan Harris will get credited with the tackle, so Hubbard gets 6 yards there. They're at Wichita Heights now at their own 46. They've got a drive going with 8:33 left in the game. And hand it off again to Henderson, and he will be met immediately. And it looked like Anthony Crawford was the first to make contact. So we got no gain there, so it will be 3rd and 4 for Wichita Heights. And another crucial 3rd down. You almost have to think about going for it. I know there's still over 8 minutes left in this game, now down to 8:10. But it is 32 to 18. So you are running out of time and chances to score. So you really, if you can't get the first down here, you have to think about going for it. Here comes a fake toss and a rollout, and he will send it, and it will be incomplete, intended for Hubbard. That was Edwards on the pass.
Number 14, Armand Hubbard.
A diving Armand Hubbard could not come down with it, so it'll bring down 4th down and 4, and Wichita Heights has a decision to make. Historically, in these situations, they have given it to Hagen Henderson in these short yardage situations, but we'll see what they choose to do here. And it looks like they're going to punt it away. And there it goes. Sanchez back. He will call for the fair catch. And I beg your pardon, that was not Sanchez. That was Devin Stoker. Now, I do want to note there was a penalty flag on that play, so we'll see what that's all about. From the sounds of it, it was on Wichita Heights, perhaps a false start or maybe illegal formation.
Illegal formation on the offense.
And we will see Olathe North decides to decline it. Don't want to risk a potential fumble on another return. And so Olathe North will start from their own 22-yard line. Now they're in a commanding position. 7:44 left, up 32-18, playing a team in Wichita Heights that takes quite a bit of time to score on their offense. So now Olathe North, you might think about some draining some clock here, or do you want to try to maintain this momentum? Here comes Sanchez around the right. And he will come through for a gain of about 4. So it'll be 2nd and 6. The clock continues to run as Sanchez was brought down inbound. 7:25-24 left. And if you're Olathe North, you really want to consider draining some clock. 23, now 22 left on the play clock. Zach Kraus lined up in shotgun formation. Kraus will keep it and go for the option. He'll keep it himself, and he will fall forward. He loses the football. I think he was down. Not sure what they're going to call. And they're going to say that was a fumble. Wichita Heights all of a sudden gets a huge break. So Wichita Heights way back in business now, starting at the Olathe North 35-yard line with 6:47 left. Olathe North leads 32-18. Edwards lines up, and he will keep it himself, and he is met immediately, and that was Eric Dooley with the initial stop. So Edwards goes nowhere, even loses one. So it'll be 2nd and 11. Clock continues to run, 6:30 now. You are listening to high school football coverage from 810 Varsity. You can check some other scores at 810varsity.com. I am Adam Drovetta here at the Olathe District Activities Complex. Olathe North Eagles leading Wichita Heights 32-18. Heights trying to come back. Edwards will take it himself, tries to get a blocker, cuts back to his left. Now to left again. He's still towing the sideline, and he is finally forced out of bounds by Anthony Crawford. So a great game there by Deontay Edwards. And he got out of bounds. So now it will be 1st and 10 from the Olathe North 20 after about a 16-yard gain there by Deontay Edwards. Edwards, once again under center. He will hand it off this time, and Hubbard will be stopped immediately for little or no gain. So now 2nd and 10, and we're under 6 minutes to go. Olathe North leading, as I mentioned earlier, 32-18. Hubbard goes in motion. He gets the pitch. He'll go out right. And he spins out of one tackle but goes right into another. And Hubbard will lose a yard or maybe even 2. So now Heights looking at 3rd and 11 as the clock goes under 5 minutes. So Olathe North has to be feeling pretty good about their position. Wichita Heights does have 3 timeouts left, but now we're at 4:40 left, and Olathe North up 2 scores. Fakes the toss, Edwards. He will look to pass, and he has a man open for a touchdown, and that went to Ryan Hatchett right over the outstretched arm of D'Artagnan Harris. So life again for Wichita Heights. Just as you thought they were running out of time, Edwards throws his first touchdown pass of the night. And that extra point is good. So Heights gets in the end zone for the first time since there was 4:41 left in the second quarter. And just like that, with 4:28 left in the fourth quarter, we have a 1-score game, and that fumble earlier that was recovered by Wichita Heights comes up huge because Olathe North had the opportunity to drain some clock and keep this thing going and keep the ball away from Wichita Heights. Unfortunately, there was a fumble which led to that Wichita Heights score, which, as we just saw, came from the arm of Deontay Edwards and landed into the hands of Ryan Hatchett. So a senior-to-senior connection there to make it 32-25. Olathe North still holds the lead. 4:28 remaining in this game. And the kick is long, and it will be taken at about the 15, and cutting forward and up the sideline with a great return. Looked like that return came from Jackson Catloth. Beg your pardon, that was Javon Parrish. All the way to the 39-yard line, so good return by Parrish. And now Olathe North back on offense. And they find themselves up 7 with the ball. And we'll see what they're able to do with it. Zach Kraus in the shotgun formation. He is going to hand it off to Mason Myers. Myers will get forward for about 4 or 5 yards, setting up 2nd and 5. And Olathe North taking their time now, probably going to keep it on the ground. We got 10 seconds left on the play clock, and they're going to be forced into a timeout, I would imagine. Lined up 5 seconds, now 3 seconds on the play clock. They do get the snap away, and it is handed off, and it looked like he may have lost the ball again. No, it looked like he was able to get it back. Myers was on the carry. He did lose one, and now Wichita Heights calls a timeout. So to reset where we are at 3:25 left in the 4th quarter. Wichita Heights was up 18-0. Olathe North then scored 32 straight points to make it 32-18. But just a few moments ago, Wichita Heights scored when Deontay Edwards connected with Ryan Hatchett on a 20-yard touchdown pass to get back within one score. It's 32-25 is now the score we're at now. Olathe North has the ball facing 3rd and 6. Wichita Heights just called their first timeout of the second half, so